Hey everybody, this is Brad Bruce and I am here with,
Jace Marsiglio.
and you're listening to the 5195 podcast.
Indeed you are. And we're still kind of sad.
Yeah.
We thought, well, you know what? You made a good point. To release it when it happened would be like picking off the bones, picking at the bones. It's by the time this airs, it's probably been 2-3 weeks, give or take. But we had to do an episode about the death of Ozzy Osbourne because unbeknownst, I don't know to you, maybe both of us, I don't think either of us knew how big of a Ozzy fan the other one was. Because it's just, I mean, considering how much Brad and I know about each other and all of our similar interests, there's still shit we're discovering about each other.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. And both of us were kind of like, oh, fuck, I didn't know you were an Ozzy guy too, you know? And yeah, it was a massive death.
Yeah.
For both of us because, Ozzy was there. His music was there for me during some very formative years. And I was dipping my toe into metal. You can't listen to metal and not at some point run into Ozzy or Sabbath if you're serious about it. You know what I mean? Because I have seen online a lot of people who are like, why is this affecting everyone so badly? And it's like, are you a metalhead? Because he's the Godfather. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this death it's to a metalhead, this is like losing one of the Beatles.
Yeah.
You know, this is big. So, yeah, we wanted to touch on it. We're probably going to do a couple of episodes. We've talked about doing a top 5. But this one was more or less just the discussion about, you know, losing Ozzy and what the music meant to either one of us. I, for one, I really didn't get into Ozzy until I was in junior high. Junior high was when I was kind of transitioning into metal. I kind of skipped. At that time, everyone was into the Seattle grunge scene.
Okay.
When I was in junior high.
Right.
And I touched on it and was like, not for me. And kind of went for harder stuff. I wanted angrier music.
Right.
And I was listening to stuff like White Zombie, Pantera, stuff like that. And my uncle was like, do you listen to Ozzy? And I was like, Ozzy. And at the time, I didn't realize how much Ozzy I'd heard and didn't know it was him. Just didn't know, you know, because I was, like I said, I was dipping my toe.
Yeah.
I wasn't familiar with names and bands and all that. I was just I was doing the BMG stamp thing and just kind of discovering shit.
Yeah.
At that time, 1994, 95, my Uncle Mike had just bought Osmosis. First track in is Perry Mason, which is hilarious. You know, that in retrospect, you're like, well, Ozzy's old. Of course he watches Perry Mason. You know what I mean? But it is a fucking jam. That song is heavy as fuck, and it comes in swinging.
Yeah. And
I remember thinking, what the fuck is this? You know, I was like, okay, all right, Ozzy. And as the album progressed, I was like, this is cool. I like this. So I ordered some Ozzy CDs, and I've got the ones that are color-coded with a little picture of the album in the center and Ozzy written down the side. Okay. And each disc has like a weird rune of some sort.
Yeah.
Like a occult rune or something. So it was cool. All of my Ozzy CDs look like a set.
That's cool.
Up to a point.
Yeah.
Because I want to say they were released in conjunction in 97 with, you ever heard of the Ozman Cometh?
Oh, yeah.
The double disc. One disc is a bunch of Ozzy songs. I believe the second disc is mostly demo tracks and interviews.
Yeah.
If you got the limited edition. And this was to celebrate that. And all of these albums were given like a makeover.
Right.
You know, kind of a cool thing. So I went out and I was collecting all of them. Because Ozman Cometh came with a fold-out book with a lot of writing about Ozzy, and that was kind of giving me my history lesson, kind of getting me up to speed.
Right.
And the back of that book, the fold-out book, gave a list of all the Ozzy albums up to that point. So I was like, I got a grocery list now. So it didn't matter where I went, what store it was. I was thumbing through the O section, and I was picking up all of these collector's edition remasters of Ozzy's discography. It started in junior high, but I would say by high school, I was a diehard Ozzy fan by high school, because it was just that by that point, that's when you would see me walking around in Ozzy t-shirts and fucking doing Ozzy art projects. You know, I was doing Ozzy posters in like a drawing class that I had out of pastel. If I find any, I'll take a picture and we'll put it on the socials or something. But yeah, by high school, I was deeply entrenched in Ozzy Osbourne, and of course, by that time, I'd learned, oh, he's the singer for Black Sabbath, and I'd heard Paranoid hundreds of times before realizing, oh, that's the same guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, so I was deeply entrenched in Ozzy and Sabbath. Once you get into metal, you usually start with Sabbath if you want to start where metal began, and you follow the tree from there.
Right.
There's a lot of argument. Some people say metal started with like Deep Purple, Blue Cheer, MC5, stuff like that. And these were all proto metal. These were hard rock bands that were doing things that metal does.
Right.
But for my money, Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath that's the dawning of a new era.
Absolutely.
That is when metal became dark and mean, and we're not singing about love, we're not singing about sex, we're not singing about drugs, which they did periodically, but this was like, we're singing about the occult, we're singing about Satan, we're singing about, you know, death and moody shit, cemeteries. This was goth, you know what I mean? And this was not the Beatles,
which is funny because that's who inspired Ozzy.
We wouldn't have Ozzy, we wouldn't have Sabbath without the Beatles. And a lot of, I've had people argue with me about that. That's bullshit. None of the two are the same. And I'm like, yeah, you guys, you can dislike the Beatles all you want. Most people do, most people don't. But the Beatles influenced nearly everything that you listen to right now. And
I mean, Ozzy himself said that.
Yes.
He goes, yeah, it's funny. People ask me, is that your influence when you do not make that kind of music? But it was just the creativity, the passion, the drive. You know, that's what inspired him.
You don't know what you're going to listen to that makes you go, I need to pick up a guitar, or I need to get behind a mic, or grab a pair of drumsticks, you know. And the Beatles did that for so many people, and I understand the overhype and all that. I grew up a Beatles kid. Yeah. But it was like, once you understand the creativity and craft, right, you're like, okay, well, this spawned this and this spawned that, and you can do the ancestry.com of heavy metal, but the trunk of that tree is Black Sabbath.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not even going to pretend like I'm Eddie Trunk and know all this shit. Sabbath is pretty much an undisputed, for the most part, fact. Yeah. I mean, like I said, some people will argue Deep Purple and all this, Led Zeppelin, but Sabbath, to me, that was when music got dark.
Exactly.
And that's more the metal that I listened to, and more the metal that people complained about and got controversial and all that, you know.
Well, I think it's funny, like, because they used to be called Earth. And they were in a studio, or they were like somewhere practicing or whatever, and because they were like kind of like bluesy, kind of, you know, Earth was,
which was probably a little closer to the Beatles, you know, for what people question, you know.
And I guess like one of them might have been Ozzy looked over at the cinema, and there was a line down the street for Black Sabbath, the movie,
the Bava film.
Yeah. And he was just like, look at all these people paying to be scared. Yeah. You know, and he was like, maybe we should make scary music.
There's something to that.
Yeah. And then, of course, you know, they took the name as well, you know. You know, I was lucky enough to see him a handful of times. Yeah. But even beyond the music for myself, like, even though it was like, yeah, I have all the albums, I had all the CDs, I had all the LPs, and I had inherited my brother's, Black Sabbath stuff and, Ozzy albums and shit. But I was always just like infatuated with the dude.
What a character. Yeah.
Probably one of the most naturally funny people I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Could make a joke out of anything, could make anything funny.
Yeah.
But you could tell there was like a level of like genuine human in there.
Yes.
I mean, this guy could be rock star, fucking not relatable to the common man.
Oh, to politicians, he was the poster child for Satanism.
Yeah.
And he didn't give two shits.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not a Satanist.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might sing about the devil or hell or any of that stuff. He goes, but we sing about the shit that scares us.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, I'm not an occultist or any of this. But it was like his image, mostly by people who were detractors, gave him a mythology that wasn't entirely true.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he's the Prince of Darkness and all this shit. But like you were saying, this was a funny guy. And he just sang about crazy shit and he had weird interests, but he was cool.
Yeah.
He obviously had his demons, as you've said. Notorious history of drug addiction.
But you know what, though? He got in front of it.
He did.
He never pretended it didn't happen. And when he was asked at certain times, like, about drugs, he's just like, I fucking miss it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, but I just don't do it.
He's not gonna, after school special that shit.
Yeah.
But
like,
he was
I never want to touch it again. I'm so happy. No, he's like, I fucking miss it. I love that shit.
Yeah.
But he's like, it's just, I think he got to a point to where he was like, you know what? I think other things are more important. Because, Ozzy had a whole fucking other family before he was really Ozzy Osbourne.
Sure. Yeah.
Couple kids and everything, but just the family man that he was. Because like I had friends that that know him and were like hanging out with him.
Yeah.
And like I just wanted to hear stories.
Oh God. Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's like there's a guy that I know, like he went to his house recently for like a personal signing, before he moved back to, overseas.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, the dude is so fucking cool. Like he was so welcoming. He was so fucking, he's like, this is like in my, like, I'm living legend.
Yeah.
This is fucking Ozzy Osbourne. I'm in his house. And, he's just like, Ozzy's like, oh, you want something to drink? You want Thursday? He goes to take him to the fridge. Like, yeah, whatever you want. Just like, it's super fucking a human.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was more attracted to that side of Ozzy.
And that's the thing. Again, people have built this mythology around him that's bigger than even who he was as a person. Imagine the people who tried to be Ozzy based on that mythology. You get these people like, these bands like Wasp and Slayer and all them who are like, yeah, we actually do occult shit and all this. And it's like the guy who you're following in the footsteps of doesn't even do it. You know what I mean?
No, he's at home watching the History Channel.
He's at home. Yeah, he's chilling out and fucking laughing about the Three Stooges and shit.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hilarious to me because, the people who really knew him knew, okay, there's Ozzy and then there's John.
Yes.
And yeah, he was a totally different guy. It's super funny.
Yeah.
We were talking about it yesterday, how you said he had like funny sketches and shit in front
before
of his
concerts.
Yeah. And one that stood out to me was when he was in a hotel and a guy from the hotel brings him his breakfast and he takes a sip of his coffee and he goes, what the fuck is this, man? And the guy goes, it's your coffee. And he goes, it's fucking bullshit. And he goes, oh, fuck the lot of you. Fuck you. And he gets up and walks out and you hear the guy say, I like your tattoos. And off camera, storming out of the room, you just hear Ozzy go, oh, fuck you. And that was the end of the sketch, and I laughed my ass off. I'm like,
Yeah.
what a stupid thing.
Yeah, but it's funny. And
What the fuck is this, man?
it's so good, like, and that there were so many Ozzy moments that like just it's like you can't just pick out one,
No.
because there were so many. Like, remember one time he was like in his house and he was painting, and Sharon's like, you got to do promoting for the band. He's like, it's not my fucking band. They kicked me out of the fucking band. Why am I going to promote? Let them fucking do the promotion. I don't want to do the fucking promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, but do you want to do it? He goes, yes. I fucking love it.
So random.
Yeah. And I there was another one where he was like on a bus and he's like screaming at his kids.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. Leave me alone. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, look, a red Ferrari.
Yeah,
Like,
squirrel.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it was like those moments, and when I really got to see Ozzy outside of the Prince of Darkness,
Yeah. Yeah.
is when he would appear on the Howard Stern show.
Oh, for sure.
Those were legendary appearances.
Yes.
And do you know that Howard Stern is responsible for the Osbournes reality show?
Never thought about it, but I could see why.
Because when he was on there, Howard's like, you're so goddamn funny, Ozzy.
Yeah.
You guys need your own show. And he kept pushing it and pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do your own show. So they started with Cribs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they let Cribs come in,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just ratings through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
And then it went to fucking reality TV,
Mhm.
like for 2.5-ish weird seasons.
That's it?
Yeah.
I felt like it was on so much longer than that.
Yeah, no, I know.
So many funny Ozzy quotes. Because what's funny is part of the reason I didn't watch it a lot was because the show was primarily like Sharon and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Ozzy, being Ozzy, would kind of wander in and out
Yeah.
and say something funny. And it was like, I'm watching this for Ozzy, and he's almost a co-star on his own show.
Mm-hmm.
But the things that he'd say and do on it were hysterically funny.
Yeah.
And it's just him being him.
Yeah.
And, I think of there's an infamous episode where a phone's ringing and he's like, what the fuck is that?
Yes. When he's on the remote.
Yeah. And he's like searching the house.
And he hears it and he turns around.
Where the fuck is this?
It's so good.
What the fuck, man? And the one where he's telling his kids, I love you more than life itself, but you're all fucking mad. You're all bloody mad. And I'm like, do you know how weird you have to be to make Ozzy look at you and go, what the fuck,
Yeah.
man?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about a guy who snorted a line of ants.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Absolutely.
pissed on the Alamo. Or,
Yeah. He did.
This is just, the
Yeah.
guy's history is legendary.
It is legendary.
And it's only a matter of time now. I'm calling it. We have movies about Freddie Mercury. We have
Yeah.
movies
Oh, no,
about
it's coming.
Elton John.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to play Ozzy Osbourne.
Denzel Washington.
King Kong ain't
Yeah.
got nothing on him.
Well, because they asked Ozzy in an interview,
Who would play you?
They want to make a movie about you. Who do you want to play you? And he's like, Denzel Washington.
What an Ozzy answer.
I know. It's so fucking great.
Denzel Washington.
And he's like got that amazing smile.
Yeah.
And they just cut to him just looking over his glasses, like smiling at them when he says that. I was like, that's so fucking good.
One of my favorite things that he did when he was in town in Detroit, obviously when they're doing press for a concert or something, they stop into a radio station. They get call numbers, and all he had to do was say, "This is Ozzy Osbourne. You're listening to 101.1 The Riff. Detroit rocks. Or Detroit Rock City," and you would hear, "This is Ozzy Osbourne. You're listening to 100," and you'd hear the boop, and then this is Ozzy Osbourne, and you're listening. boop. And then you would hear him do the full thing. And then after he was done, he was like, Jesus Christ, it's like reading a fucking book.
So, God damn it, dude.
It's like reading a book.
Oh, my God.
I just remember I was driving to work listening to it and just laughing my ass off. See, yeah, right. 101 the riff. Riff, what? And I just fucking loved it. I was like, oh God, I could listen to this guy all day. He's so fucking funny.
Same. And I did. You know, I ate up every interview I could. And, you know, it was weird because he was one of these guys that, like you said, you know, there were two different people. You know, like with most of these guys, they want to live up to the persona, even though they are two different people. They want to be the persona.
Oh, Motley Crue.
Absolutely.
It's like the perfect example.
Yes.
You know, that these are guys who are, and don't get me wrong, they've done it all.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
But at some point you're like, okay, now you're just trying to reclaim that old attention, that old glory, by doing something outrageous.
Right.
You know, and it's like, Ozzy, I don't think, I mean, if he was, it was during the heyday, during the Coke and all that stuff. But come maybe No More Tears era, early 90s, you were getting a different Ozzy. He was much more refined.
Yeah.
Much more sober, for one. But you were seeing the kind of the, I don't want to say dork behind the image, but he was like, I'm a regular guy.
Yeah.
I'm a regular guy, Brad. I want people to have a good time. And it's like, this doesn't sound like the dude who bites the head off of doves.
No.
You know what I mean?
I saw an interview with him where he was like in a kitchen cooking.
Oh, really?
And the ladies like asking him like, you know, so you're sober now, like, you know, no more drugs, alcohol. He goes, no. He's like, I don't. He's like, you know, I'm clean. I'm on the straight and narrow. I'm, got focus and, like I don't do that no more. And she's like, that's amazing. You know, she's like, so now like, and it's working for you, right? And he's like, no. It's fucking awesome. Cause he was just so, you know what? He was honest. Yeah. And like I said, he got in front of it. He's like, I'm not a perfect human. I fucked up.
Yeah.
And like I can respect that when someone can own their shit and go, yeah, no, I'm not a perfect human. We're all human. We make mistakes. We do shit. It's like there were moments like I would watch and you could see how sincere he was about his past, and how that literally, it transformed into the person that he was until the day he died.
Most of which he doesn't remember.
Right.
And that's a key point I want to make, because I think it was Dee Snider who once said, be wary of heavy metal autobiographers. He goes, if you know anything about drug addiction, it's that your memory goes. So any guy who wrote a book about all of his drug-induced adventures, it's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
It's either something somebody told him he did, because he didn't. There's no way he remembers. So you were never going to get the Ozzy book where he was just like, I remember getting down and snorting a line of ants and then pissing on the Alamo. No, he doesn't fucking remember any of that shit. It's legendary. It's lore.
Yeah.
But him in the midst of it.
Yeah.
He was the guy who woke up the next day going, I did what?
Yeah.
What the fuck? And he was very humble about that. You never got yeah, man, I did that because of rock and roll. I did that because heavy metal, man. That's what you do. No, he didn't. He wasn't that guy. He was just kind of like, really? Oh, well, that's fucking weird. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he was just, oh, well, I guess if I did that,
Yeah.
And he didn't try to make an excuse for it. He didn't try to, backpedal it somehow and be like, well, it was the Coke.
Yeah.
No, he was just kind of like, I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is like in my mentality, I'm also like, fuck. All those crazy stories and all the wild shit he did, it really wasn't like a PSA to not do drugs.
No, because And again, I use Motley Crue as an example. Motley Crue, we've got guys who died on the fucking table for a minute.
Yeah.
We've got guys who fucking, if anything, they were the poster child for living an excessive lifestyle. Whereas Ozzy, with the exception of certain deaths, Randy Rhoads, stuff like that, Ozzy's stories were just funny.
They were funny.
And you were like, well, it's like, I don't know if I want to be so high that I, bite the head off of a dove at a fucking studio meeting.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know if I want to do that, but it's not a horror story. It's just kind of funny shit that he did when he was out of control.
Yeah. Well, I heard a story one time where he was on tour and he, out away from everyone and was at a club or somewhere and picked up a chick and brought her back to his hotel and walked in and started getting shit going and forgot he brought his wife on tour and she was asleep in the hotel.
Oh my God.
To me, that's fucking funny.
It's pretty funny.
You know what I mean? To be that fucking blitzed.
That's the thing. Yeah. He's completely smashed.
Yeah. Like I saw something the other day where, him and Jack did that travel show for a while and, they're in an RV and fucking Jack's driving and the camera's just showing Ozzy like freaking out. He's like looking around. He's mumbling and screaming like, where the fuck, it's like, look, and Jack's like, what are you doing? He's like, I can't find my fucking glasses. And Jack's like, what? He's like, they're on your fucking face. And he's like, I'm a fucking idiot.
Oh my God.
It's fucking great. What a life, What a fucking life. And it's awesome because, we were lucky enough to have him be a part of our upbringing and literally into adulthood,
Yeah, yeah.
And that's awesome. He was there through our whole life.
It's funny though, you almost equate the Ozzy with like The Simpsons where it'll always be there.
Yeah.
And then when it's done, you're like, wow, what a hole that left that I didn't expect.
And it did, like I was on my way to LA and a buddy of mine sent me the clip.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, here it is 2 weeks out from the concert.
That's the thing that got me because I knew he was declining. I knew it was bad. And again, though, it was that Simpsons thing where I'm like, yeah, he's kind of swirling the health drain.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's hard to watch. And it was like, oh, he's dead now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And that was something that I thought was kind of funny in my own head, thinking we knew he didn't have much longer.
Right.
But to be so fast after that concert.
So fucking fast.
It felt like I was blindsided. And there was that rumor
about him and Sharon?
Yes. About being euthanized.
Yeah. Like Switzerland or some
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
And
which I was like, that's horseshit. I straight out was like, nah, it's fucking bullshit.
I did too. But because it happened so fast after his final concert,
yeah,
for a millisecond it popped in my head and was like, did he do it?
Right.
And then,
you know why I know he didn't? Because remember, Kelly got proposed to on the last day of the show.
Okay.
And they had a wedding to plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how much of a family man he was.
Oh, he'd have been there.
He was not like, oh, let me take myself out before my daughter's wedding.
No.
Because it's just, you see the amount of love that Ozzy had for those three people.
Yes.
And then now grandchildren.
Of course.
Like I've seen the videos of him as grandpa.
Me too.
And I'm just like, that is so fucking amazing.
It's warm.
Dude. Yes, it's so amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right, dude. There is a hole now because I did listen to Ozzy frequently when I was, working or doing something or, whatever. It's like he was always there, especially like when we were doing like construction shit back in the day. It was like I would always put on Paranoid and just fucking one,
oh, yeah.
hit one and just go for it. And then whatever else popped up, it popped up. But it's like Ozzy got me through a lot of fucking hard bullshit days.
He did. And, one of the songs that I have a hard time with now that he's gone is The Road to Nowhere. Because prior to his death, it was kind of an uplifter because it was like, yeah, things might be shit, but it'll get better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm proof. The road to nowhere leads to me.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And now I have a hard time listening to that song.
I have a hard time listening to any of his music right now.
Really?
Yeah. I tried the other day. I got through one song, and it was just like, nah, can't do it yet.
No shit.
Yeah. And then, like, obviously they're talking about releasing that concert.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, I'll buy it, but I probably won't open it for a very, very long time.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough watch.
Mm-hmm. And then obviously the BBC documentary is coming out where they were following him for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And again, it's also on the other side of the coin, it's fitting. It's very storybook, fairy tale-ish.
For sure.
For him to literally go back, like move back home, do this back to the beginning concert, us see him sing Mr. Crowley for the last time, Mama, I'm Coming Home for the last time, and them cutting to the audience of, you see them crying, audience members are crying while he's singing this, and
because the heaviness of what's happening is very palpable.
Right. And it was weird because there was a moment while I was watching those clips, even before he passed away, I was still uncomfortable watching him. I didn't like seeing him strapped down.
Me too.
He wanted to get up. It was like, Dad, it's almost like he was at his own funeral when I was watching him.
It was a wake. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He was able to celebrate his career one last time, last night, and could have died years after that. And that would have had the same impact.
Right.
Because anyone watching knew this was it.
Mm-hmm.
This is.
Well, I saw an interview with Sharon where she's just like, no, this will be Ozzy's last concert ever.
Yeah.
And obviously this was before he passed, and this is before the concert and everything. And I was just like, fuck. Like thinking about that, I was like, wow, that's crazy, Yeah. And I knew a couple people that went.
No shit.
And I was like, fucking good for you. Like, good for you,
Yeah, it would have been amazing.
Yeah. But honestly, no, I wouldn't have went.
I don't think I could.
Because it was like, there was someone that talked to me about it.
Yeah.
And was like, this is what it would cost. Like, are you down? Like, I'm going.
Yeah.
And like, I thought about it, and like, when I really like put it in a perspective, I was like, you know what? I don't think I do, because I want to remember Ozzy on stage the way I saw him in the 80s and in the 90s.
Throwing buckets of water.
Exactly.
Running around.
Dancing, jumping, being funny.
Yep.
I think I want that. And seeing that on stage, it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Especially because he is such an important person in our lives.
Yeah.
It's like you don't want to see your heroes fall.
No, and I wouldn't have gone either, even if it was handed to me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you're saying goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be in the crowd going, I hope I never forget a second of this concert because this is it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's too much. It's too heavy.
Yeah.
And, I'm thrilled for the people that were there. I'm thrilled for the bands that got to play, because that's a momentous occasion.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't, I'm retiring. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because how many retirement tours have we seen?
Kiss.
Exactly. And I'm like, everybody in that orbit, everyone in that fan base was like, this is it.
Yeah.
For sure.
There was such a somber tone.
Yeah. And I'm like,
the whole thing, even though it was gorgeous, it was beautiful, it was done amazing.
It was done amazingly, but all of it was to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a problem with that.
I do too, because I wasn't ready to say goodbye.
No.
I wasn't ready to say goodbye to the man,
No.
Even though he was older, I did watch a lot of the new shit. Like, they had a podcast, the whole family.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah. But it was like videoed.
Yeah.
And man, just them sitting there and the shit that they would do and say was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Even like Sharon and Kelly, like Jack has a good fucking personality.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon is very sharp, very crazy,
Extremely.
very fucking, strong woman. But she's also got a giant heart as well.
Oh, yeah.
And on the recent podcast, you know, a handful of years, I think they were doing it. It might have been here in the States when they were doing it. I could be wrong, but it was like, God damn it, these are real people.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fakeness, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no script here.
No,
They're not trying to be something they're not.
no, and that's the thing. It would be easy to pigeonhole them as the real life monsters.
Very much so.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like, no,
Yeah.
that's not what you're getting out of it.
That's what I loved about the Osbourne show was you could tell it wasn't scripted.
Oh, for sure.
There was
Yeah.
plot points and there were different things. For sure, there's always got to be a structure. But you could tell that that was literally just hit record and stand back.
Yeah.
And I love that shit. You know, it's like I loved watching Ozzy do day-to-day normal shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, screaming about dog piss and dog shit. You know, like are putting trash bags in the fucking trash can and him finding a balloon. And he's just like, who the fuck puts a balloon in a trash can? Fucking pop it. Why is there a balloon in the trash can?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just the most random but normal everyday life things that people go through.
I knew a lot of people that stopped liking him because the mystique was gone.
See, and I loved him even that much more.
Right. That's how I went. You know, it was like, no, he's Ozzy's just one of the guys.
Yeah, he's a real guy. He's an entertainer. You know,
You
he's
know.
a performer. You know, like I mean, that's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a fucking original person. There will never be another one like that.
No.
You know, and it's very sad. It's very, very sad that we lost that.
Yep.
And like I said, it did hit me really hard.
Same.
It was kind of the same impact as Hunter Thompson. It was the same impact as George Romero,
Yeah.
where it fucked with me for a while
Mm-hmm.
because it was like, God damn it, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know that you and I had to have put enough of that into the universe for people to call us immediately.
Yeah.
I heard Ozzy died. Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, it sucks, but
Yeah.
it's like the fact that, you know, I a buddy of mine who I hadn't seen in like 20 years or more, like a high school buddy of mine, he texted me out of the blue. Ozzy just passed, man. I'm like, I know, man. I was like, I thought of you too, you know.
Yeah.
But he was just like, man, you're the one who got me into Ozzy when we were kids. And he goes, this sucks. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it does, man. It really does. But it was just, it's funny though that it's not like we're sitting around all day, Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy. You know, I got an Ozzy shirt on every day, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like people, you wore it as a badge. And that's why when people like George, Wes, you know, all these people, you know, they pass away. You've carried that torch long enough that people are like, this is going to affect my buddy Jason, or this is going to affect my buddy Brad. And it does, you know, it's very much a tragedy because, I mean, again, don't get me wrong. It's exactly like you said. It's a fairy tale. He was able to go out on his terms. He was able to say goodbye, which not many people ever get to do. But it was still very much like, wow, this is a world without Ozzy now.
Yeah.
Weird.
And I felt that loss.
Oh yeah, the axis tilted. You know, it was just. Well.
Yeah.
And then it's so weird because it's like, will I feel that when like Tony Iommi dies or Geezer Butler?
Yeah.
It'll be like, oh, bummer.
Yeah, that sucks.
But Ozzy was the character.
He was.
He was the guy who you followed into a solo career and into movie cameos.
Right.
And, you know.
But even above all that, too, it's like, you know, he had a very distinct, unique voice.
Very.
And he also had extremely clever lyrics.
Yeah, which he wrote. You know, those were his lyrics. And again, the message in songs like Road to Nowhere, Life Won't Wait. Oh, that one hurts. You know, he did have those songs.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't always just, you know, Perry Mason, Diary of a Madman. That was...
It wasn't all witches at Black Massive.
Yeah, and it was... But that's the bread and butter.
For sure.
That's the shit we came for. We're horror guys. We love all that. And then every now and again, as you're spinning through that album, you'll hear one that kind of hits you.
Yeah.
And you're like, huh,
he had a lot of them.
That's Ozzy giving you a pat on the back and saying, "Hey, man, keep going."
Yeah, he did have a lot of those.
He did.
You know, I think that was really his voice.
Yes.
Honestly,
Yes,
the real Ozzy.
absolutely.
You know, were those songs because they were meaningful.
The rest of it was the character.
Yeah, it was just the fun shit. This is what you need. Here you go. Here's the jam.
Yeah.
But then you know what? Here's the heart.
Yeah. This is the message I have for you.
Yeah.
And
well, let me ask you a question. Did you watch the procession?
I didn't.
Yeah, me neither.
No, I couldn't.
Me neither.
I saw the picture of Jack and Kelly flanking their mom, and just Sharon's face was just a grimace of pain, and that hurt. So I was like, yeah, even this photo's bugging me. I don't think I could have watched the procession. Yeah. Which I'm sure will be part of a DVD or documentary. You know, it'll
definitely be part of that documentary.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'll see it eventually, but right now with it being so fresh, it really bums me out. The whole thing does.
Yeah, it was. It was. I watched video clips after it because there were live streams to be able to watch it. You know.
In fact, my brother Justin, he sent me the link that morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I got set up for work, you know, and I booted up my computer, and then I clicked the link, and it was like, this is already ended. And I kind of felt the twinge of relief. I was kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, and especially when the procession stopped on the bridge.
Yeah.
And there's just a sea of flowers, you know, and then the painting splashed on the brick wall. And they get out and they lay their flowers at it. And then there he is in the hearse, in a glass side hearse, and you could see his casket with the Ozzy flowers there. You know, it was just like, God damn it. Like, it's like, that's not supposed to happen.
No.
He's not supposed to be in there. You know, he's supposed to be out here.
But look at the procession and the fanfare and the thing. This is a guy who was reviled for being a Satanist and, you know, this awful. And it's like, you don't do this to people who are Satanists.
No.
You don't give this kind of a beautiful send off to someone that's responsible for all the ills of society and causing kids to commit suicide and all this shit.
Yeah.
No, they treated him like royalty. And it was because he wasn't what they were building him up to be.
Right.
Or building him down to be, I should say. Because, he was blamed for everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Suicide solution. Oh, the whole song's about killing yourself. Yeah, with booze. You know, it's a warning song. You know what I mean? It's like
the meaning's in the title.
Suicide solution. Yeah, exactly. And it's
but that's the thing is, like, you know what? It's easier for people to just take something and just fuck it all up and mix it up to where it has a different meaning
by not watching or listening.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about that before when we did the PMRC hearings. These are mostly people in suits who they're not going to waste their time listening to that song or watching that movie.
No, not
you know. And I've seen these politicians, particularly when you watch stuff about like the video nasties, which we got to do an episode. But the video nasties thing, where people like Mary Whitehouse are literally telling you, oh, I wouldn't watch that rubbish. I don't have to watch it to know what's on it. Yep. And I'm like, that's an oxymoron.
Yep.
I don't have to see the proof to know there's proof.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, so, but you're in charge of getting it banned.
Yeah.
And that specter followed Ozzy from Jump Street and Sabbath clear up until the end of the 80s. And like I said, starting with maybe No Rest for the Wicked, No More Tears, give or take, it's almost like people kind of went, he's harmless. Because he was never part of that anymore.
Right.
But for 2 straight decades, at least 20 solid years, can you imagine just being one of the most hated people in entertainment because of something that someone else thinks of you?
Yeah.
You know, an image that you've created that went completely out of control. No, I'm glad that I had the head on my shoulders to see through all that very early.
Yeah.
And enjoy it for what it was and see the guy for who he was.
Right.
And, Yeah, it's a very tragic loss. And yeah, don't get me wrong. I was bummed when we lost like Peter Steele.
Mm-hmm.
I was super bummed about that because I was a massive Typo Negative fan. I felt a pit in my stomach the day Lemmy died. And I'm like, these two guys really affected me. I'm like, when... Like, I was a fan.
Yeah.
And I was bummed. Really bummed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, even Dimebag Darrell, that whole
Yeah.
thing. I remember that one really shocked me. That fucked me up. But it was like, these are guys that I'm just a massive fan of.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen when one of the legends, one of the columns that holds this up crumbles? And now we know.
Yeah.
And it does fucking hurt,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, I mean, his death had just as big of an impact on the world as John Lennon's.
Yep.
And I think it's almost fitting because that was an inspiration to him. And now the world basically was like, we miss you, we love you.
Yeah.
And it hurt.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
And it was deserved, honestly.
And
he deserved it.
And it's like, I'm probably going to catch shit for this, but it's like, I wasn't this affected when we lost like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't really part of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And we still talk about him.
Yeah.
To this day. But Ozzy was my wheelhouse. He was my Beatles.
Yeah.
My Elvis, whatever. And I hold him in his high regard as like your John Lennon's and stuff like that.
How could you not?
It's just, yeah, that's a massive, massive, massive chasm that's created. And I think about it a lot when you mention like Howard Stern. The only time I've ever seen the man starstruck was meeting Paul McCartney.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching it and going, Ozzy is speechless.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
And I think about that a lot. And that's coming from a guy who grew up on the Beatles too. I'm seeing an icon from childhood.
Yeah.
Brought to you by my dad. Meeting the icon that I discovered on my own. I got the nudge from my uncle, but it was like my fandom meeting my dad's fandom and mine not knowing what to fucking say.
Yeah.
And it was just such a weird, cool moment. And it just proves that these were two earth-shattering talents in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
We should have all exploded.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the earth should have just imploded on itself. But it was just one of those deals where the gravity and the catalog left behind it'll be around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about Ozzy is going to be left in obscuria.
Right. For sure.
You know what I mean? So, again, I keep going back to that Simpsons metaphor, but it's like, it's always there until it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank God he did give us a lot of gifts that we'll be able to remember him for.
He did, and a whole fucking shelf full of music and DVDs. And,
absolutely.
I mean,
he'll still live on.
We'll always be able to visit Ozzy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was a loss, man.
It was pretty fucking massive.
Yeah, because I that's why we had discussed it. I was like, I can't do a show about it right now because first of all, it was like I was affected by it. It did hurt, and it took me some time to be like, God damn it, this isn't right.
No.
I didn't even watch. I had social media. I didn't want to see any of it because it was.
Oh no!
It was everywhere.
It's flooding, I'm sure. Yeah,
and it was across all platforms. The regular news everywhere.
Oh
and
yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm not. No, I tap out. I'm not going to deal with it.
It's too much.
It was.
It's a deluge.
After the funeral, then it was like, okay, let me look and see. And I started revisiting some other things, and I was doing it on my own. I didn't want to be like just blindsided by some shit.
No.
So I was going back and looking at old, Howard Stern stuff and just kind of like reliving like some really good moments in his life and, really celebrating him and the person, then I kind of like started dipping my toe into the other side of like, the procession, and Jack just recently made his first post and that was just gutted.
I read Kelly's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just like, God damn it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it was tough. That's why I told you, maybe it's not time to do it. We'll figure out when to do it. Because we did. It was like, we could just do it now,
Yeah, we were talking about doing a phone one, because I wasn't out here yet. And I'm like, well, we need to strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah.
And it didn't occur to me until you said that. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready either.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the words yet.
Mm-mm.
No. And I still don't think, even this episode, as we wrap it up, nothing we could say is going to eloquently put how we feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? We could we could gab about it and laugh about the shit we liked and all that, but people aren't going to get it unless you were an Ozzy fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you had to be part of that tribe to really get what we're even trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're saying is, you know what? Thank you, Ozzy, for everything.
Thank you. Yep.
And now it's time to rest.
Yep.
So, all right, man. Well, that was tough.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a bummer.
But I'm glad we got to do it face to face, same room.
Of course.
All right, dude. Until next time.
See you on the other side.